in 3, 2, 1. Reefscape.
45, the Techno Cats usually going to sneak in one coral there at the L1 level. All robots moving that starting point line. Going to get 3 points for each of those robots for movement alone. Only available during the autonomous period. Teams can score additional points on their reefs. It would have been points of bonus 1 or 2 points depending on where they score it. The remaining 2 minutes and 15 seconds completely teleoperated human controlled player to pick up the robots their team built for the past 6 weeks. 94-53, go ahead and hanging out at that station. That's the Mount Vernon Wildcats. They're trying to get as many coral on their reef as possible along with all their teammates and opponents. 74-77, the Giddy Goats spinning wildly trying to get that extra game piece out of their robot. Teams can only hold on to one of each game piece at a time, so they're doing their best to remove that one they don't want so they can pick up another one somewhere else. Checking back in on our Blue Alliance friends, Team 45, making sure they're trying not to overextend. They have smartly installed a cloth to keep those extra coral from getting stuck in their robot. 94-31, the Robo Knights continuing to work with their human player coral station to get additional game pieces into the field of play. There's a limited amount of algae on the field, but additional coral can come in using those coral stations. Red Alliance now applying some additional pressure to their opponents, applying some defense on the far side of the Blue Alliance field, trying to prevent their opponents from getting additional game pieces from the human player station. A lot of teams not focusing on ground pickup so far this season, so the only way to get additional game pieces in is through that coral station where the human player is. Red Alliance diligently focusing on their reef. 74-77, the Giddy Goats potentially focusing on trying to remove algae from the reef since they're stuck with a coral inside of their robot mechanism. The score is currently 27-12 in favor of your Blue Alliance. 46 seconds for them to change that. As we continue looking around the match field of play, 31-76, that's your Purple Precision, keeping their eye on their competition. Team 45 up in the air on top of an algae. They'll have to potentially get themselves out of that mess, and so they can continue in the solution. Both of their opponents working with them diligently. They know they'll potentially need those extra points later for their park. They're going to be careful not to tip over their teammate. We heard that sonar ping. We're now going to start seeing teams making their way over to the cage and do those climbs. Red Alliance going ahead, already has one up, potentially up off the ground. More points if you're elevated. Again, the longer the chain, the more points you'll gain. Time dwindling down, and it looks like we're almost out of time. And that's all for qualification match 57 here at the FIRST Mishawaka District event. Taking with a score of 38 over Red Alliance's 29. They're going to get 3 ranking points for that win. Blues still walking away with 1 for their hard work in the barge. We did see one of the teams elevated off the ground at the end. Stick tight for qualification match 58.